I have something very important I have to tell him. It's not what you think.
Look, there's something going on Tad ought to know about.
You know, I was wondering when somebody would get around to telling him. So you finally decided to tell Tad about his double? It's a little late. He already knows.
Tad knows.
Opal called us in California. He thought that she was just trying to blitz the honeymoon, and then a couple of minutes ago, I saw this guy with my own eyes.
You told Tad?
Of course, I told him.
Tad didn't go in there to see him, did he?
What would you expect, that he wouldn't?
My God. He can't go in there blind. I have to tell him first.
Tell him what?
I'll come with you.
No, look, he trusts only me. He'll tense up with anybody else.
Look, I think Tad can handle whatever this mysterious double throws at him.
It's the mysterious...
Or anybody else, for that matter.
What is it?
It's the mysterious double that I'm worried about. I'm not sure that he can handle Tad.
Would you mind telling me what's going on here? I mean, what do you and Dixie know about this look-alike that Tad and I don't?
Look, we've all been through an emotional ringer here.
Did it come to your mind to say something to Tad? You know, if he had walked by the room and glanced at this guy, this mere image of himself, did it occur to you that the effect that it might have on him?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it did.
So why didn't you and Dixie
Because
say
I thought
something
you were still
to
on
him?
your honeymoon, okay?
We have been here for hours.
Well, it may come as a surprise to you, but some of us have more on our minds than Tad's equilibrium.
Oh, fine. All right, fine.
Yeah, and you know, your joyous return was somewhat eclipsed by Palmer's heart attack.
All right, Edmund,
Now, he's
you don't...
laying in there dying. I'm sorry if we didn't pay attention to Tad's peace of mind, so if you want to lecture me on insensitivity, excuse me, but I think I better go.
Wait, please, wait. I'm sorry, all right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'd like to apologize for this. And for so much else. I don't want things to go on the way they are. Do you? And my nerves are shot. It's just a bizarre situation, and I know it's not your fault.
Or Dixie's.
Or Dixie's.
You took one look at Michael and you lost it.
I wasn't just talking about what happened when we were in there.
Well, then what? I mean, when were you talking about?
Morning of the wedding. Suppose you're wondering why my father didn't show up immediately when you needed help with him.
Joe explained all of that.
Then he told you that I was the one that stopped him from coming.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. We got the message. I just thought it was a crank call. I just couldn't believe that we should take it seriously. It was too crazy.
It's over and done with. It's okay.
It's not okay. It's not. Any message that comes from you, whether it's a note in a bottle or a smoke signal or Morse code, is important to me. I should have checked it out, and I didn't.
Well, I mean, why would you? I mean, I'm sure the message sounded ridiculous.
I have a lot of faith in you. I should always have the doubt. I know that you would never do anything without a damn good reason.
Hey, it's okay. I understand. I've got a pretty impressive track record for being a hothead.
There was nothing hot-headed about the letter that you wrote to me for my wedding gift. Thanking me for giving you back your life and wishing me happiness. It wasn't a letter that was written by a man who was planning on ruining a wedding.
Must be hard to keep that in mind when you're at the altar and some nut starts screaming it.
I didn't give you the benefit of the doubt, Edmund.
Yeah, well, we've all seen The Graduate one too many
I
times.
should have trusted you. I mean, after all, I just hope that there's something I can do.
Brooke,
to make up
you don't have to. Okay? Really, it's all right.
Really? Ease up on yourself. Tad, naturally you ignored the message. I mean, how were you supposed to know that you had a clone in the hospital that somebody looked just like you? I would have done the same thing, only I happened to have spent a day and a half with him, and I thought...
He was me. And you saved his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, well...
Call me Florence Nightingale.
Listen, it's nice to know that if I showed up and passed out on your doorstep, that you wouldn't just throw me out in the rain.
No, I don't let people die. Not even you.
So, You just picked this Michael Williams up, got him to the hospital, and everything turned out okay?
Yeah. Yeah, everything turned out fine.
And even though I nixed your message, I didn't cause any tragedies?
Well, no tragedies.
Honest?
Honest.
It was no big deal. Really.
Being escorted out of the wedding by goons?
Well, they were gentle goons.
I know, Edwin, we wouldn't even give you a chance to finish what you had to say.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't. You know, it hit me when I was being escorted by those nice gentlemen. Why let some mystery clone put a damper on your big day? That's why I didn't explain things on the terrace, because I didn't want to wreck your wedding.
I wouldn't have wanted that.
So, do you think we can really hone in on just who that is in there?
Yes, I'm sure of it.
I mean, I already know what Palmer managed to dredge up. Did anything else come in?
Well, not from Palmer's people, but yeah, there was something.
He's Ray Gardner's son, isn't he?
Why don't you just listen
No,
to me?
just tell me. I mean, I can take it. That man is my half-brother. Somehow, he's got to be.
I know what you're thinking. Opal thought the same thing when she first saw him.
Obviously, she's right.
Tad, just listen, all right? I've been able to talk to him quite a bit. And I found out some things that Uncle Palmer's people could not find out. Edmund and I have been doing some talking, putting some pieces together. And we think we have a theory.
Dixie's probably telling Tad right now, so there's no reason I shouldn't tell you. We haven't said anything to Michael.
Tell me.
Look, you can see for yourself how shut off he is. There has to be a reason for that. Edmund and I think we know what that is.
I think he comes from some kind of an abuse situation.
Abuse? What do you mean, like drugs or alcohol?
No, like child abuse. And bad. I've seen some signs.
Like what?
Like he represses a large section of his childhood.
Amnesia? But that doesn't mean... I mean, Tad had amnesia.
Yeah, but that was from a head injury. I think this is from an emotional trauma.
He doesn't remember anything that happened before he was 10 years old. And he didn't speak for 2 years before that, when he was found. Something must have happened to him, something traumatic, when he was about 8 years old.
8? Like what?
Like, he was found on the west coast of Canada in a very remote place.
Go on.
I'm just trying to lay all of this out for you.
No, what you're trying to do is break it to me gently, and I don't need that. Please, just tell me.
Brace yourself.
Tell me.
I think Michael Williams is the real Ted Orsini.
You're joking.
I'd never joke about something as serious as this.
Come on, Dixie, think about it. What are the odds of the real Ted Orsini showing up all of a sudden in the middle of Pine Valley?
It's not a coincidence. He came here to see you. I found a copy of the Intruder article in his pocket, the one with the big picture of you.
So what does that prove?
He told me that he thought you could tell him who he was.
How? How could I possibly tell him who he is? Besides, we don't even know that the real Ted Orsini is still alive.
All the pieces fit.
We don't have any pieces. All we've got is that man's face and a life story which is filled with a bunch of holes.
Nola Orsini lost an 8-year-old boy. Gus Williams found an 8-year-old boy.
Sure, who couldn't talk.
Right.
How would he know he was 8 years old?
I can tell an 8-year-old about 2 blocks away.
God forgive me for saying this, but how many 8-year-old boys do you think disappear in 1 year?
Ted Orsini grew up in Northern California, right? Gus Williams found this little boy in Western Canada in the woods, alone, too traumatized to speak. He still has nightmares about that, being alone, nightmares that sound an awful lot like yours.
So what? So So he went through hell. That doesn't prove
In the dream, he's hiding from somebody.
He said that.
Yes. He said if you move, they'll see you.
Who's they?
They are probably the people who pulled him off his bike. Who locked him up. He's terrified of being confined. He can't stand. He went crazy when they put him in restraints. He can't even stand the sight of a closed door.
So that proves he has problems.
He has problems because somebody pulled him off his bike when he was a little kid and locked him up.
Or it's a chemical imbalance. The man could be desperate for lithium. We don't know. That doesn't mean anything.
When I showed him a picture of Junior on his new bike, you should have seen his reaction. He said, "You can't outrun a car on your bike." He said that. He said, "Don't let Junior go too far from home. It's not safe for children." He said that.
This is all very interesting, but it still doesn't spell Ted Orsini. I'm sorry, Dixie. It's just too big a leap.
Not for Nola. She saw that face.
Nola
She knew.
was wrong.
She was not wrong. What if she wasn't wrong? She knew that face. The face of her son. You have Ted Orsini's face.
After all this time, it's
Come on,
just
come on.
not
Let's
possible.
think about it. Nola spent time thinking about what her boy would grow up to look like. She memorized that face in her heart. She knew every detail, every contour.
You're telling me after 20 years that a
No,
woman
think
could...
about it. Think about what if I had lost Junior? Would I forget his face? If you lost Jamie, would you forget your son's face? No. You would stay up night after night thinking about it every night. What he would grow up like. What he would be like when he was a man. You love your son's face. Nola loved her son's face. She loved the ears and the nose and the chin and the sparkle in his eyes. And one day, when he was 8 years old, somebody pulled that little kid off his bike and nobody ever saw him again until now. Maybe she wasn't so far off. Maybe it wasn't just wishful thinking. Because you don't just look like her son. Tad, you are the mirror image of him.
Well, you look at Ted's life and things start adding up. Like, why didn't Nola's detectives find anything? It's because the kid was stuck in some backwoods, too traumatized to speak.
But when he did talk...
Well, when he found out that he could speak, he had blocked out everything before, like Joe and Nola Orsini. It happens all the time, Brooke. I've been reading up on people like Ted.
I have to find Ted.
Yeah, it's got to be tough for him running through somebody else's fortune.
I guess our apologies only take us so far, don't they?
Look, that just came out.
Selling
Okay.
Tad short for a long time. I guess it's a real hard habit to break. Where are Ted and Dixie?
Where'd they go, Michael? Please.
Where?
They went to talk.
Where?
You know where they went, don't you? Why didn't you tell him?
Maybe they don't want to be found.
Doesn't make a lot of sense. They're newlyweds.
Dixie loves him. You know it. I know it.
Yeah, but Tad doesn't.
So what are you thinking?
That it's a miracle I didn't wear a hole through this floor, pacing up and down. Waiting for my 10 minutes an hour with Nola.
Yeah, I know.
5 months later, part of me still half expects some nurse to come walking out and tell me it's okay, I can see her, your mother's waiting. Your mother's waiting. She thought the waiting was over, Dix. She thought that she finally got her little boy back. You know something? After I figured out who I was, I always felt like somehow I'd cheated her.
But you didn't. You gave her so much. You gave her love. You gave her hope.
Everything but what she wanted most. I was just beginning to make peace with that. Now I don't know. She waited her whole life to get her son back. She searched, she suffered, and she prayed. And prayed and prayed. And now, maybe he's here. Can't tell her.
I know.
I would have done anything. Anything. To bring him back to her.